Welcome everyone to Intelligent Voices. I am your brother Israel YAH. Today we have a very great episode for today. Won't take up too much of you guys' time, but here it is. All that matters for those that dare understand that we are in the spiritual realm right now with Father Yahuwah, my Father. So before we go and start up, you guys, let's grab everything that we need. I'll give you guys a couple minutes or so. Give everyone an opportunity to get into the moment of praying to Father Yah for this study and to continue on showing us everything in that matters that we need to know about, that we do here at Intelligent Voices Israelites. We'd like to give a shout out to all the brothers and sisters as well that is out there taking care of my Father's business, making sure the house of Judah in the 1/3 is returning by therefore being used as vessels, allowing my Father to spiritually develop this connection with everyone. So, with that said, I thank everyone who have attended here with us here at Intelligent Voices Israelites. So let's go into prayer, everyone. Almighty Father, my Father, Yahuwah, Yeshua, Yahweh Shah, Almighty Yah, I pray to you, Father. I come always before you with my whole heart, spirit, and mind. And as my brothers and sisters who are here with us, here that are supporting and sharing us and viewing us, we'd like to send our blessings through you, Father, to them, to give them the strength to keep participating and keep growing their mustard seed. We know Yeshua's spirit is with us. He guides us, he protects us. We know the archangel Michael is around us, has stationed angels all throughout the earth by my Father's authority. I am your friend Israel YAH, my wife Micaiah, my son Yisrael YAH. We send our love and blessings to all of you who are helping us and helping our Father, who is in each and one of us, share this gospel of truth and education, which gives us the balance of substance to produce the production with instructions that comes from my Father that is written on each and every one's heart. I thank you in Yeshua's name. I thank you for being you, being called, being renewed. In Yeshua's name, amen. Now, today we will be talking about the writing on the wall, similar to what Daniel, but what we'll be talking about, everyone, is basically allowing everyone to understand that the falling of Babylon have already taken place. And you might have noticed it, and some of you might not have noticed it. Because as you see, many foreigners have come into the land, and here it is. It's their land anyway. But here it is, foreigners that come into the land and have bought up many things, bought stores out. And here it is, these people have kept the name, just like the barbershop with Ice Cube, where the guy said, oh, no, I'm going to keep the name. It's going to stay barbershop. Yeah. So here it is. It's the same thing that's going on with the housing market and many of the job markets and many other markets. Many of them have been bought out. So people don't realize that change is being given unto the world. And it's blowing the trumpet here and to allow people to understand that you got to hurry up and make your time with my Father, Yahuwah. Because if you don't, then you are killing yourself. And if you don't, then here it is. It's nobody's fault but yours. You cannot say that you didn't have the opportunity to make righteousness actions And here it is, and come out of your iniquities. Because the gospel is being taught in many verses and styles throughout the world. But we're going to talk about America, which is the modern day Babylon that our ancestors came to this country. And here it is so long ago. And here it is, we are the offsprings of. So I have took my notes here to what I wanted to discuss here today with you guys. And hoping it was most likely benefit all those who might come across our channel in the way that here it is, that be beneficial to them, to my Father. So with that, let's continue. What participates the demise or dissipates the demise of a dominant global power at the end of the age? How can Babylon experience such a dramatic fall after having asserted control, here it is, over the kings of the earth and the merchants of the earth? Because we know that this is what is going on. Inflation is high. Housing prices high. Everybody is lovers of money, just like the Bible, my father said. And we're seeing here now grab this amplified book, Revelation chapter 18. Now watch this. Revelation chapter 18. Clearly says in verse 3, all the nations have drunk the strong wine of her terrible sins. The kings of the earth took part in her evil ways. The traders or merchants of the world grew rich from her great wealth. See that, everybody? So now this is allowing you to see that she is modern day Babylon, the America. America is the modern day Babylon, and it is proving it to you, because here it is. Everyone wants to come to America. Everyone think that America is the best thing that you can country you can be in. And here it is. It's been all staged by the same people who therefore created her, Esau. So here it is. Others have fallen in line to help the devil and demons promote their own unrighteous, here it is, country that will rule all other nations. Okay, America rule over them. Then here it is, the fall of ancient Babylon help us understand the decline and the fall of modern day Babylon in the book of Revelations, right? Babylon ruled, here it is, the ancient world from around 539 BC to 605 BC. And here it is, during which time she amassed fortune and power as to refer to as the praise of the whole earth. Now we know this is said because when we look, we know that back in the ancient Babylon, it was also the praise of the earth. And now we see modern day Babylon, which is America, being praised. Here it is. But understand, she's also falling. Okay? She was praised and now she's falling. So now when we get to Jeremiah 51, watch what happens. In verse 41, 51:41, y'all, Jeremiah. And when you get here, it says Babylon. Understand this. This is what's about to happen. Babylon will be captured because we got immigrants, we got crime rate high, we got poverty, we got pestilence, we got earthquakes, okay? We got all these phenomenons that have been mentioned in the Bible to allow us to understand that this modern day Babylon called America is falling. She's been taken over from within and from without, okay? Babylon will be captured. The whole earth was very proud of it. You see this? But it will be taken over by others. It's going to be taken over by others. We got immigrants flooding into the country, okay? We got terrorists everywhere. So here it is, a war is brewing, and people don't even understand it. Your brother Israel YAH is here to allow you to know through the power of my Father who's in me from the heart to bring you back into covenant, to bring you back into understanding, to help you rise and know the knowledge and the wisdom of the truth. It clearly says here in Jeremiah 51:41, but it will be taken over by others. The nations will be shocked. Here it is. Other nations who sit on the sideline is going to be shocked. Those who are watching the fight will be shocked when it falls. You see this? This is in the Bible. This is allowing you to understand what game you don't understand, everyone. This is for the brothers and sisters who are out there not looking for salvation, not looking to be redeemed by Yah, but thinking about as a Christian, just because they haven't murdered nobody, which they have, which they haven't lied on nobody, which they have, which they haven't stolen from somebody, which they have, okay? Because Yah says, my Father says, if you break even one of the laws, you have broken them all, right? So the power is definitely that caused tremendous suffering. That's right. To Yah's people through his dealing with ancient Babylon. Yahweh's purpose are always redemptive, everyone. It is recorded in the Bible that the great Babylon, a Babylonian king, Nebuchadnezzar, right, converted from paganism to faith in Yah, having witnessed Father Yah providence and leading and having had a personal encounter with Yah that have left him convinced of Yahweh's goodness. And we see this here. Nebuchadnezzar changed, became a conformed man. And here it is in Daniel chapter 4. And it's good that we're discussing this, everyone, because this is going to help you understand what the world is going through right now. And it's going to help you get yourself right now, because you're going to need to right now. Because if you don't right now, you're going to suffer big time. And this is what my father is saying. Now here in 34 through 37, it clearly says here about Nebuchadnezzar, at the end of that time, I, Nebuchadnezzar, looked up towards heaven. My mind became clear again. Then I praised the Most High Yahuwah, Yahweh Shah. I gave honor and glory to the one who lives forever. His rule will last forever. His kingdom will never end. He considers all the nations on the earth to be nothing. He does as he please with the powers of the heaven. He does what he wants with the nations of the earth. No one can hold his hand back. No one can say to him, "What have you done?" So here it is. My honor and glory were returned to me when my mind became clear again. This Nebuchadnezzar's. The glory of my kingdom was given back to me. My advisors and nobles came to me, and I was put back on my throne. I became even greater than I had been before. You see this? Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, give praise and honor and glory to the King of heaven. That's Yahweh, Yahweh YAH, Almighty Yah. Everything he does is right. All of his ways are fair. He is able to bring down those who live, here it is, righteously proud. There you go, in him. So now this is the truth, everybody. This is allowing you to understand the writing on the wall to Daniel, here it is, had did, but now understanding the writing of the last days on the wall, which we are discussing here at Intelligent Voices Israelites, giving you the opportunity to understand that here it is, the Bible records that ultimately that Babylon refused to surrender to the guidance of Yahuwah's spirit, and that he would have healed Babylon. Yeah, that's right. Yah said that he would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed, right? Because we can see this is clear today. If the world was blessed, if America was blessed, why will it be going through what it's going through? Poverty, earthquakes, catastrophic storms in certain various places. So now here it is when we look at Jeremiah 51 again, look at verse 9. And when you look here, verse 9, Jeremiah 51, it says, the nations, that's right, the nations say, we would have healed Babylon, but it couldn't be healed. So let's leave it. Let's leave it. Let's each go to our own land. Babylon's sins reaches all the way to the sky. They raise up as high as the clouds. So this is telling you how cursed this place is, right? The earth then became cursed because of the falling away from the covenant of my father Yahuwah. Here's what happened in 539, here it is, BC, Nebuchadnezzar's grandson, Belshazzar, here it is, at a time when Nabonidus had left, here it is, Babylon, to worship the moon god. Here it is, sin was in another part of the kingdom. Babylon came under attack by the armies of the Medo-Persians, right? This invasion had many years before had predicted by, here it is, prophet Isaiah. This said that the Almighty to his anointed Isaiah, who wrote to Cyrus, right, whose right hand I have holden to subdue nations before him, and I will loose the two levied gates, and the gates shall not be shut. As we see, this is also in Isaiah 45, verse 1, right? Cyrus is my anointed king. I take hold of his right hand. I give him the power to bring nations under his control. I help him strip kings of their power to go to war against him. I break city gates open so he can go through them. I say to him, you see that? This is Father Yah. So giving power to those who he may give power. So now the armies of Medo-Persia diverted the Euphrates River, right? Which ran through the city of Babylon from its course, right? Then they marched in shallow water along the dry riverbeds, right? Through the two levied gates that had been carelessly left open, exposing Babylon to attack and ultimate defeat. On the night of Babylon was conquered by the Medo-Persians, Belshazzar made a great feast to 1,000 of his people or of his army. Now understand, and they drunk wine before the thousands, as we see that again in Daniel. So keep holding these places, everyone. Daniel chapter 1. And Daniel chapter 5, verse 1. King Belshazzar gave a big dinner. He invited 1,000 of his nobles to it. He drank wine with them. And then here it is. We see this here, right? It is in the book, in the Bible. These vessels were extremely sacred, though, everybody. Understand this. Because we got to realize the falling of the kingdom. And here it is, 70 AD. And then here it is. We see the falling of Solomon's temple. But here it is. And a lot of stealing was going on, right? So now as we see this in this Daniel chapter 5, and then here it is, we see that in verse 2, in verse 1, while Belshazzar was drinking his wine, he gave orders to his servant. He commanded them to bring in some gold and silver cups. They were the cups his father, here it is, Nebuchadnezzar had taken from the temple in Jerusalem. So this is his son. A lot of times people get them mixed up thinking that we're talking about the same one. No, we're talking about the son. So now understand, Belshazzar had them brought in so everyone could drink from them. That included the king himself, his nobles, his wives, and his concubines. So this is what they was doing, defiling. Now, as we see this here in Daniel 5:1, engrossed in debauchery and carelessness about the security of the city, Belshazzar, in a rash alcohol-fueled episode of blasphemy, commanded to bring the gold and silver vessels, here it is, which his father, Nebuchadnezzar, had taken out of the temple, right? Which is in Jerusalem. And we see this here as we have read it in verse 2. Now, the gravity of this situation must not be overlooked, everyone, brothers and sisters. Years before Nebuchadnezzar's armies, when shackling, here it is, Jerusalem, when shackling Jerusalem, plundered the temple and made off with the sacred vessels used in the worship of Yah, Nebuchadnezzar realized or recognized something of a, here it is, scrutiny of these items, having them placed in a treasure house of his God, as we see in Daniel chapter 1, verse 2, right? The master handed Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, over to him. Nebuchadnezzar also took some of the articles from Yahweh YAH temple. He carried them off to the temples of his God in Babylon. He put them among the treasures of his gods. It's right there. So this is the writing on the wall, everyone, to allow you to see that this modern day Babylon has fallen. She has stolen merchandise throughout her hemisphere. So now here it is. We see these vessels were from the house of my father, that therefore was from his temples, and they were sacred to Yahuwah of heaven, that with them he might pay homage to, here it is, this Belshazzar paid homage to heathen gods with these items that came from my father's temple. They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and the silver, of brass, and of iron, and of wood, and of stone, as we see here in Daniel 5, verse 4, what we just read. As they drank the wine, they praised their gods, right? And used those things in praise of pagan deities. When he did this, Yahweh of heaven decreed that Belshazzar had crossed the line of rebellion. That's right. And a visible hand appeared from out of the sleeve of darkness, and quite literally, the writing was on the wall for not only Belshazzar, but for the kingdom of Babylon. And it's the same thing, people, that is going on right now with America. Because it says, in God we trust, which is another deity, not my Father Yah. So here it is. They trust in deities of demons. Okay? An invisible hand appeared from out of the sleeve of darkness. Quite literally, the writing was on the wall. That's right. In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand and wrote over against the candlesticks up on the plaster of the wall in the king's palace. And we see this in 5:5. Suddenly the fingers of a human hand appeared. They wrote something on the plaster of the palace wall. It happened near the lampstand. The king watched the hand as it wrote. Belshazzar was terrified by what he saw happening before his eyes, recognizing even in his drunken state that something supernatural was taking place. Eventually, the prophet Daniel was summoned, that's right, to intercept, here it is, the mysterious writing for the king. But before doing so, he explained to Belshazzar why this moment had come. He recounted, Yah is dealing with Belshazzar's grandfather, Nebuchadnezzar, reminding Belshazzar that as great as Nebuchadnezzar was, he governed only due to the providence of Yahuwah. Daniel then recalled for the intoxicated monarch how, due to his pride, Nebuchadnezzar was disposed from his kingly throne and afflicted with a temporary insanity, living in the wilderness like a wild animal. That's right, like a wild animal. And this is as it says here in Daniel chapter 5, verse 22. You can see this here all the way through 23. But you knew all of that, Belshazzar. After all, you are Nebuchadnezzar's son. In spite of that, you are still proud. You have taken your stand against the Almighty of heaven. You had your servants bring cups from his temple to you. You and your nobles drank wine from them. So did your wives and concubines. You praise your gods. The statues of those gods are made out of silver, gold, bronze, and iron, wood, and stone. They cannot see or hear or understand anything. But you didn't honor Yahuwah, Yahweh YAH, who holds in his hand your very life and everything you do. So he sent the hand that wrote on the wall Wow. We are the apostle brothers and sisters who are walking walls for the house of Israel. That's right. Each one of us are walking walls for the house of Israel to allow ourselves to understand that here it is, Yah want you to be a billboard for others. So therefore, they can read your writing on your wall and therefore choose to become a wall like you, which is be another stone to the kingdom of heaven that is to come. Right here. I'm explaining it to you right here. And thou, his son, O Belshazzar, has not humbled thy heart, though thou knew all this, but has lifted up thyself against the Almighty of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou have, or king, or demons have drunk wine in them, and thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold. Now, according to Daniel, Belshazzar knew about Yahuwah's dealings with his grandfather. Belshazzar knew, here it is, the kingdom was entrusted to him by that the worship vessels he brought out to live up his, or liven up his party, were the property of Yahweh, Yeshua, Yahweh. Fully, here it is, clogged up in his mind, oppressed on in his orgies or indulgence. Then Daniel interpreted writing on the wall in three statements. The first statement, Yah has numbered your kingdom and finished it. The second one said, mysterious phrases was decoded to mean thou art weighed in the balance and are found wanting. And finally, Yahuwah's message to Belshazzar was, your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. And that night was Belshazzar, the king of Chaldeans, who was slain. And Darius the Mede took the kingdom, being about 32 years old, as we can see this in also everyone in the Daniel chapter 5, and that's verse 30-31. That very night, Belshazzar, the king of Babylon, was killed. His kingdom was given to Darius the Medo-Persians. Darius was 62 years old. So now as we see that, I'm cross-referencing, paraphrasing to show that here it is, this writing on the wall for modern day is us. Those who are returned to Yeshua, he have written his laws on our heart, right? So my father said, you are now a billboard. The light shines in you. So here it is. Everything that is in darkness sees you now because the writing is now on your wall, the tablet of your heart, right? So understand, we're seeing now what many have never ever seen before to understand Daniel's writing on the wall, right? So now here it is. As we continue in the same way, the Bible makes clear that Babylon will fall again. And Yah final gospel message to the world, right? That's what's happening now. Brothers and sisters are waking up all over the world in every country, returning to my Father Yahuwah, and angels flying in the midst of the heavens of the sky, announcing that Babylon is falling. That's what we're doing here today, to announce to you, everyone, And when we are done with this, Father Yah says that you will notice and understand the time have come. You have been sleeping and missed the bus. You are behind schedule. So let us bring you up to schedule, right? So now we see Babylon is falling because Revelations 14. Go to Revelations 14, verse 8, right? Completely says, a second angel followed him. He said, fallen, Babylon the great has fallen. That's right. Because ain't immigrants coming all up and through America? Ain't everything went sky high? Ain't people became more lovers of money than lovers of my Father Yah? Ain't people becoming more haters? Hearts grown cold, like Matthew 24, verse 11. So now we're seeing the Bible, my Father's word, is true. It has always told the truth. People have just not been ready for the truth to listen, to take it in. So now here it is. It's being explained. But I tell you, by the time we're finished with this writing on the wall, there will be a whole new chapter that will open up in the earth that now many will see who is sent to you to give you the gospel. So therefore, we as children of Yah, spread it all around this globe, have did a service together that my Father is pleasing and enjoyed about. Because here it is. This is the true return and the true Judah and true Israelites. Because now as we continue here, in 14, verse 8, as we see, the city of Babylon made all the nations drunk or drink the strong wine of her terrible sins. So now we see she's been sinning a long time. What is it that precipitated the fall of modern Babylon? Remember, ancient Babylon ultimately fell when the ruler of the kingdom took objects designed to be used in the true worship to my Father Yahuwah and completely desecrated them by employing them in pagan worship practices. Yahweh law was set aside, just like every church. They're not really serving my Father, they're serving demons. These are the synagogues of Satan, not the synagogues of my Father. So understand, everyone, as we continue. True worship was rejected in favor of false pagan worship. If we apply the Bible rule of type and anti-type, we can expect, here it is, that in the book of Revelations, we will have a world, here it is, ruling power, that's right, corrupting true worship and replacing it instead with false worship. Now we understand that scenario is happening right now because of the Jesus Christ phenomenon and the Catholic phenomenon in the latter days and any other religionist phenomenons is against the law of the Bible. Because we should be supposed to be under only one Father, one law, one spirit, one body, one mind. Okay? So now you get it? So does this scenario play out in the book of Revelations, as many brothers and sisters have asked? Throughout the Bible history, we see that a jealous fallen angel has built his appeal to the human family around the issue of worship in an attempt to receive the glory or honor due only to Yah. Satan has indulged, or here it is, endeavored to draw people to worship him rather than to worship Yahweh YAH. It is easy to see how he has accomplished this through the pagan and New Age religious practices. Many would argue that people worshiping the earth or worshiping idols or offering sacrifice to appease evil spirits. That happens every day, right? people are always going with the flow of the world and not with the flow of the word that comes into the word, or into the world, which is through Father Yahuwah. But how would Satan deceive Christians? That's what people say. How would Satan deceive people then? And how would he get people off target spiritually? While these people carry Bibles and regularly attend church or say they believe in Jesus. In the first half of Revelation, this is where we got to go, everybody. Go to chapter 13. Not only will all the world wander after the beast, but the vast majority will worship the dragon. That's right, which is called Halil, the beast of beasts. Yeshua said, worship him in the spirit and in truth, right? Because here it is, as we see, I'll go back here, chapter 13, it clearly says here about this beast, verse 7, he was allowed to make war against Yahuwah's people and to overcome them. He was given authority over every tribe of people, language, and nation, right? This is the dragon. This is the UN. Now, the beast comes from a presidential background. And here it is. That was Joe Biden. That was Barack Obama. That was the Bush. That was Clinton, okay? And all these other presidents before them. But here it is. He says, tribe and language, he controls all of this, right? So now let's go to John chapter 4, regular John chapter 4, verse 24. Watch this. Chapter 4, verse 24. Yahuwah is spirit. His worshipers must worship him in spirit, not through a stone, not through wood, not through clay, not through anything but spirit and in truth, he says. So you must worship him in spirit and in truth with your heart, right? Like I say, writing is on your heart. That's your wall, right? It's writings on the walls of your heart, right? Because your heart is wrapped into muscle, skin, right? So now here it is. While Babylon followers will worship in vain, teachings for doctrines from commandments of men, because we know that is going on right now as we see the synagogues of Satan, these churches, because we can see in Matthew's chapter 15. Let's go to Matthew. Go to Matthew's chapter 15, verse 9. Clearly says here, their worship doesn't mean anything to me. This is what Father Yahuwah says. These Christians, these Protestants, these Baptists, all of them that says they go to church. My Father is telling you straight to your face, your worship doesn't mean anything to him. That's right. They teach nothing but human rules. You can also see this in Isaiah 29, verse 13. Take note. So don't let someone fool you, everybody, brothers and sisters. Because he's saying, here it is, law is set aside and human laws are exalted in their place. This is what man has done. Have exalted himself and in his mind thinking he bringing my Father Yahuwah down. Something Yah is unable to tolerate, right? As David wrote in Psalms, it is time for thee, Almighty, to work, for they have made void your law. As we can see that in Psalms 119, 126. Brothers and sisters, just as Belshazzar understood the seriousness of taking that which is Yah's and using it in false worship, everyone living on the planet Earth in history, final days, will hear Yah call in the everlasting gospel to worship him who made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of water, as we see in Revelations chapter 14, verse 7. Now, last message to the world contains an appeal to worship Yah consistent with the Bible's guidelines for true worship. The message is presented as though being proclaimed by an angel flying in the midst, that's right, of the heavens, right? Speaking in a loud voice to every nation, kindred, tongue, here it is, of people. Now we see this in Revelations chapter 14, verse 6. The whole world will hear Yah appeal to faithfulness and obedience. And once the issue is in the earth's final conflict, have been presented to the inhabitants of the earth, and people everywhere have been given the opportunity to decide or be against the truth of Yah's word, then will it be said that Babylon, here it is falling. So understand, this is a pre-fall. That's why I tell you now, you would now finally identify who is really sent and therefore giving you the final opportunity to make a choice to know my Father Yahweh YAH is real, the Almighty I am. And here it is, allowing you to tell the difference between those who have still the old food times those who have been sent to show you now the new food. That here it is, Yah really is here. And in every believer of people, teaching and returning to him. Now understand, to decide or be against the truth of Yah's word, which is itself a message that demonstrates Yahweh's great love for the Israelites. Remember, the word Babylon means confusion. Babylon means confusion. Babylon means confusion. There is a Babylon in the last, here it is, days that implies that there is massive spiritual confusion in the world today. That's right. And this confusion was instigated and cultivated over a millennium by an angry devil who is bound and determined to be received on the earth by worship. Here it is. In this earth, the worship he was unsuccessful in receiving in heaven. One might expect that Yah would have little time for anyone who is confused or deceived or spiritually misled, right? However, instead of impatiently cutting off the earring falling Israelites, Yah appeals, my Father, with a message designed to jar people into spiritual consciousness. See, we're here to wake you back up. The final blow to allow you to see that this modern Babylon is about to fall. I assure you, by the time we're done with the writing on the wall, people will start to see that here it is. They are waking up more and more. And here it is, seeing the difference, what we have explained ahead of time, which has always been before your eyes. You just have not given yourself the chance and opportunity to do so, to see. I am your brother, Israel YAH. Virtually, here it is, an entire global population is led astray by the enemy of, here it is, my Father. Yet, Yah calls to all the world with a message of repentance. If all the world wondered after the beast, and if the beast, Babylon, falls, what is the fate of the people who have chosen to follow Babylon then? What hope is there for a person trying to make their way through this world and into the world to come? The good news is my Father Yah has that all figured out, everyone, which is a good thing for us today. Hamashayek. Shalom. Which is a good thing for us today, because Babylon is rising to be falling forever soon. So as you see, my brothers and my sisters, my Father is about to time in punishments, which must justify us for our thrones and our giving crowns of eternal life. But we see, brothers and sisters, that wisdom is before you. So understand, this was only the start of the writing on the wall. Read those, as we will be back tomorrow for another episode. Keep following us. We thank you for attending today and allowing us to share this manifold with you to get you started to knowing what is about to happen. And here it is, be prepared with your family, friends, and here it is, brothers and sisters who are basically going with you to the new kingdom. So in Yeshua's name, my Father have sent me to therefore from the house of Judah, to therefore be here, intelligent voices, Israelites, for those who are meant to be called as well. For this learning to be a basic thing, as simple as a mustard seed, for all that will return, I am. And here, therefore, come to believe in you as you believe and will return to my Father. In Yeshua's name, shalom.